Hey, DJ.
Wes, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, did you know that the first Chamber of Commerce in Texas was chartered by the Republic of Texas in Houston and founded on January 28th, 1840, almost 72 years after the organization of the first Chamber of Commerce of the United States?
I did not know that, but if you look back, if you go find that photo of the first Chamber of Commerce in the state of Texas,
Yeah.
I'm the guy that took that photo.
I bet you were.
I was.
Yeah. Did you also know that in some countries it's mandatory to join a Chamber of Commerce to do business?
You know what's not a bad idea? I did not know that, though. But that's not a bad idea.
Now you do.
Get people in line.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Now you do. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Live, Love, Wylie podcast, hosted by Wes Dorsey and DJ Shirley. Connecting people in the city we live and love. Man, DJ, it's been a minute since we did a podcast.
It has. A lot of events, a lot of things going on, keeping our attention in other places, but we're back again.
We are back. And, we got a pretty good podcast today, right?
We do. We've got a fun one today. I do have to, as always, give a shout out to the Live, Love, Wylie band so we don't get any nasty emails about not thanking them. We just want to,
They just keep getting better and better.
Just want to say thank you to them. They're in the other room.
Yeah.
They're in the other room.
They're in there drinking coffee and stuff.
They are.
But, we got a great local organization here with us today, right?
We do. And I'm excited to introduce her. Today we have Tina Stelnicki with us. She is the CEO for the Wylie Chamber of Commerce here in Wylie, Texas. And what better organization to have on the Live, Love, Wylie podcast than the Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, of course.
I mean, most of us are familiar with the concept of a Chamber of Commerce. We've heard of them, we've seen them, but not everybody really knows what exactly a Chamber of Commerce is and what their functions are. And so I thought, what better person to have on here than, Miss Chamber of Commerce,
right?
Tina Stelnicki.
What took us so long?
Well, you know what? Tina is not a She's been on the show, she's been on the show, but that was what we were just talking about before we started, is that every time we've had the Chamber of Commerce on, whether it was Tina or Mike or anyone else, it was talking about, an event that was coming up that they were hosting or a part of, or they were incorporating it somehow. And that's been the extent of it, but we've never really sat back and found out about the actual Chamber of Commerce beyond, the history of the rodeo and things like that. So
I'm kind of excited to find out all this. Man.
Yeah, we are. So
I'm a member, but I don't know much, right?
Yeah, well, sometimes, and that's the thing is, like, this episode is not only going to be for business owners and leaders and entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs and all those folks that are thinking about starting a business, already have one, and they're interested in how to get plugged in. But this is also for the ones that are already members. There's going to be things that they probably don't know. And I know Tina can attest to this. We hear on a regular basis, I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it. Oh, I didn't know we could do that. Or, I didn't know that was part of my membership. And people don't know some of those things.
You know what? Guilty.
Yeah. It happens. You join, and I think us as business owners, life can get hectic. We've got a lot of things on our plate and a lot of things going on, and we join these different things, whether it's a networking group or a Chamber of Commerce. And then we do treat it like a gold star system. We did it to kind of get our gold star and say, put it on my website or on my Facebook that I'm a member, man. I'm a card carrying member of the Chamber of Commerce. But beyond that, we don't have any other context. And there's actually all of these other opportunities with what we're already paying for to be a part of that organization. And then we go, wait, I've been a member for 4 years, and you guys have a rodeo that I could sponsor and put my signs out at?
Yeah, and compared to the benefits that you get to what the dues are, it's huge.
Absolutely.
You get way more benefits.
For sure. Yeah. And that's what this episode is going to be about. And we're going to give Miss Tina an opportunity to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself. But that's what I hope this episode's for. Is I hope that we can shed some light, maybe even for ourselves a little bit, but those that are watching.
Definitely for me. So thank you, DJ.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. So Miss Tina, tell us about you and what led you here to Wylie.
Well, hi guys.
Hey.
It's fun to be here. So I always like visiting with you guys. So I guess I'll start a little bit with my professional, career. because I never knew what a Chamber of Commerce did. I never heard of a Chamber of Commerce. My parents were not civically oriented,
Yeah.
and so it was certainly not anything on my radar.
So you're telling me you weren't in elementary school going, I want to run a Chamber of Commerce. Okay.
No, I mean, who thought about running a nonprofit organization?
Right.
So no, that was not my career direction. I started out in college working for Eckerd Drugs. That's another kind of name from the past.
Yeah.
And worked in the store, in a drugstore for a long time. And then I grew up in Florida.
Okay.
And so the corporate headquarters for Eckerd was in St. Petersburg, which was right by Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had an opening. This is kind of funny. They had an opening for a couple positions to start building these things called computers.
Oh.
They were going to start implementing and put a computer in every single store.
Wow.
And prior to that, they were doing everything manually. And so there was another girl and I, and we put together all the computers out in the warehouse in Florida. And so then I started working on rollouts and came to Dallas. And I said, if there's ever an opening here, I would like to move to Dallas. And so a year later, I was here. So I have been here since really April of 85.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been here a long time. And
Was computers your background, or was that just what you segued into?
nope, that was another skill I just learned. I was going into pre-pharmacy and just didn't do really well in science, and did much better in economics and other things like that.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I don't think this is my career path. And so I ended up in Dallas, and just we worked really hard. I worked for them for a long time, and then Eckerd's outsourced us to IBM.
Okay.
And so still was a contractor within IBM, but I'll say my paycheck was a contractor within Eckerd, but my paycheck's at IBM.
Right.
So anyways, I mean, we did everything to board level repair. We fixed batteries. We did all kinds of things. I'll try to make this short. Anyways, moved to Ohio for a short period, reunited with a guy that I knew from elementary school. And so I lived up there for about a year. We got married in February, and I said, we're going back to Texas. And so
It's cold up there.
yeah,
For sure.
cold and no sun. And so we came back. Well, when we came back, I couldn't find a hardware oriented job within IBM.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into an office situation, and that was where really my first experience of working on a computer, like doing work on a computer.
Right.
You know, I knew everything that was under the cover, but really hadn't done a lot with, IT in general.
Sure.
So I became, at that point, I was auditing processes.
Okay.
They had been failing audits, and so I needed to educate the department and get them up to speed on the different process that I was auditing, and there were two of them. So anyways, time went on. The audits came back great. They needed to make some layoffs, and it was me.
Yep. That's how it goes.
And so the guy that sat next to me, his brother was on the board for the Saxe Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And he also happened to be our State Farm insurance rep. So anyways, long story, Saxe was getting ready to hire their first executive. I interviewed and I got the job.
That's awesome.
And went in, and we worked in the caboose at that time. That was my office.
It's a neat office, right? Like, I mean, it's got to be.
It
Yeah.
was. It was a great little office. And so I served as the first executive in Saxe, and was there for a little over 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, as things happen, you get a little burned out.
Sure.
And so I took some time off. And then I was asked to be the interim at the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
So I went to Rowlett for about 6 months. and went on vacation, came back, and this guy, Mike Agnew at the Wylie Chamber of Commerce, was looking for an office manager. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to work full time right now. So I called him and I said, I want to put my name in the hat and I want to come work for you. And he hired me. And so I was here in that position. That was when we actually moved into our current office on Ballard. And we were in there. And then I had an opportunity to go to the city of Murphy and do economic development and community development. Ended up learning a lot about planning and zoning.
Right.
And then, as it would be, the two part-time people at the Wylie Chamber of Commerce, Amy Berry and Kathy Vincent, they both had opportunities to move actually to opposite coasts. And they both were leaving right about the same time and right before rodeo. So,
oh no!
So Mike was popping flares and probably everything to try to find some help.
Yeah, that's the wrong time to be short-handed.
Yep, it was right before rodeo. And so anyways, we started talking, and so I came back. And so that was in, I think, gosh, trying to remember when that was. Anyways, it's been about 4 or 5 years, maybe longer than that probably. But then this past June, I have been fortunate enough to be named as CEO of the Wylie Chamber of Commerce, a position that is, you got to have heart for the job.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just a job. It's not just a career. It's, like I said, you got to have heart in it, because it's so much more. It's definitely not a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever that might be.
Whatever that looks like.
What is that?
Yeah, whatever that looks like. I don't know if that even exists anymore, but I do. Now I do live in Saxe, but I'm in Collin County.
Okay, if you're in Collin County, that's
you're under the umbrella.
yeah. I mean,
so
Wylie ISD, you're in.
Yes, that's right. So I figure I'm Wylie adjacent. How's that?
There you go.
But we've actually lived in Saxe for 25 years. I can't believe it. And but like I said, Wylie is certainly part of my homestead, if you want to say.
Yeah.
And I feel so honored to represent this organization and work with so many great people.
Yeah.
So sorry that was such a long
No,
story.
that's exactly what I wanted. That's
Perfect. Yeah.
So,
who knew you knew how to disassemble computers?
Yeah.
Put them back together.
Now we know if I have a motherboard issue, I'll just be like, hey, Tina,
Hey, Tina, my computer's not
you
working.
got any soldering kits laying around? Or
Yeah, there was in Ohio when I was working on them. I worked on, it's called a risk machine, and it was in an investment firm. Actually, I worked on computers that ran surgical operating rooms, and but there was one system that was so big we actually had to carry a ladder with us. I mean, the first time you went to work on that, you'd get your list of parts for the error codes and things like that. And so one of them was, do you have this ladder? And so you had to make sure to carry that ladder with you because the system was so big. So,
and it's wild, but I don't even know where I've set my phone. But now we're living in this.
Yeah,
day
that
and age
same
where it's
computer.
Like, systems are ran.
Yeah,
in the palm of your hand now.
That's right. So,
you don't need a ladder for that.
No. Some days I need a dumpster.
Yeah.
Just to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about, I mean, in whatever history you have, I know you told us a couple of things before we got started, but something that's important on our podcast too, and we like for people to be able to connect those things, just like we did at the rodeo, is people to understand a little bit of the history, any of the history. And we covered a little bit of it there. Obviously, we went back a little bit. Mike was here, and then Mike brought you in, and then you were here and there, and then came back, and then now you're CEO. But, can you share us a little bit of history on Wylie's Chamber of Commerce? Any history that you have on that, maybe how it got started and things like that?
Sure. So it was a group of local businessmen, and the chamber was actually originally incorporated as the Wylie Area Chamber of Commerce, and that was in December of 1976.
Wow.
So just a little while ago.
Yeah, it's a couple days.
Yeah, just a little while ago. So we're going to have, of course, this is, we're getting close to a big anniversary.
Yeah.
So that time will be kind of ticking down, or we'll be starting to get excited about celebrating another anniversary.
Yeah.
And so from there, I know that Linda Hamer was at one time one of the executives. I believe that Bev Niemer, so if anybody knows Rodney Niemer, and what is good friends with Greg Lutz and Lutz Woodworks, so that's kind of how all that ties together. But Bev Niemer also was at the chamber, and Brody. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm just totally lost her name. But anyways, that was another chamber exec, and then Debbie Bullock was there, and then Mike came, and Mike came from Plano.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. We have at this point 15 board members on the chamber board. That was increased a few years ago. We had been 12 for a long time, and so now we're 15. As the chamber has grown, then
Right.
it's a good idea to increase the board as well. And so we've had chairman. We've just all the great leaders in our city at one time or another have served the chamber either as a board member or as a chairman of the board. So,
Yeah. What is the size of the rough size? Maybe I don't know if you keep up with the exact number day to day, but what is the size of the Wylie Chamber now?
So right now we're running about 410 to 425.
Wow.
So it's a moving number.
Sure.
Because we do, we have businesses that move, we have businesses that close, we have businesses that actually we have some people that they have grown their business to what they feel like is their capacity at this time, and they aren't looking to the chamber to help build their business any longer.
Right.
And, they've kind of reached a cap, and so they feel like at that point then they need to pull back on their promotion of their business, and so they will leave the business or leave the chamber for that reason.
Yeah.
And that's kind of bittersweet because it's like, well, by being a member, you help build your business, and we were there, and
Yeah.
but I totally understand, and we respect those decisions. But we are fortunate that we're in that 400 range.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But
Well, that's good.
kinda where we're at.
That's good to know all that history of the chamber. In 1976, that's a centennial year, right? That's a good anniversary. So, in your own words, can you tell the audience what the primary function of a chamber of commerce might be?
Sure. So our tagline is connecting business and community. So if you've seen that, we recently changed our logo a little bit, but you might have seen CBAC. So it was CBAC, and that's what it was, connecting business and community. So we feel like our mission is to make sure that the business community knows what's going on in the community at large, and then we can serve as a conduit for the community to get to know our business community. So I'll kind of say that's the basics.
Yeah.
And so to do that, we host networking events. We host community events. Of course, I'll say again, the rodeo. That's our biggest community event. Rodeo. I've already got the date for 2024. So
do you want to leak that, or do you want to save it for now?
Maybe at the end.
Okay. All right.
We'll see if our listeners will stay at the end.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
We talk about the excitement of the new year.
There you go.
So,
I like it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, you never know. So, but really, that's what we do. We also, of course, if someone calls and they're looking for a particular service, we recommend our chamber members. If they're looking for a particular service that a business isn't a chamber member, we will recommend a chamber member over a non-member.
Sure.
So that's why if you've gone to our website, we have a business directory. And so you can look up by categories. Again, I just always think of plumbers,
Yeah.
or HVAC people, or media people, or realtors.
Yeah, just a couple of key categories.
Yeah,
Just a couple of Spider-Man meme.
so you know, that's how you can go. And the great thing about being a member then is the listing on the website doesn't have to just be your business name and your website and your phone number. One of the benefits of being a member is that you can go out and you can customize that business listing.
Right.
So if you're a realtor and you have a hot property, you can go out, you can update your business listing and put that hot property and a link to it. And if you're having an open house, you could put that as an event on our calendar. Those are just some of the benefits of being a member that you have to be a member to do those things.
Hey, Wes.
So.
Hey,
Did you know that you could go to the chamber website and add an event for open houses?
I did not know that.
Now you do.
But I will be doing that today for this weekend.
That's, you know, what's funny is I knew that you could create your profile, and you can. I have mine. I actually reached out to you. I guess it's been about a year ago now that we officially changed our name to under our new LLC, and I was like, hey, I need to update. I'm trying to update it across the board, and got that updated. But I don't know that I knew that I could, elaborate, on different things or whatever. So it's one of those functions of when I think about. And I've heard from y'all, just talking to y'all, that there are people, and maybe it's not every day the phone rings, but there are people that we talk about, especially with what I do, we talk about the top search engines that are out there and where people should be. And that's one of those things that, yes, do people go to Yelp? Do people go to Google? Yes, they do. But there are still, to this day, and it may be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know there is a segment of the elder population that they absolutely rely on chambers of commerce in the Better Business Bureau. And I could get a whole nother conversation on the Better Business Bureau. Me and them are not friends for the most part, just because of my days in construction for the longest time, and I know how they run their operation, and they're, it's a pay-to-play organization, whereas the chamber, it's kind of a fair playing field.
Yeah.
Is that you have an opportunity that there are people that will go and they look at it and go, if they're members of the Chamber of Commerce, then more than likely they're fairly tied into the community. They have a grasp on that. They're joining this nonprofit organization to a way of giving back, and the thought process there is they're probably a good company. They're probably a good company that is doing their part to be a part of the community, and that's who I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the guy that's we used to call him staying in a van or chucking a truck. That's like a small operation that may or may not run off with my money or do shady work. I'm looking for somebody reputable.
Well, and that's kind of like the whole basis of why we started this podcast too. Is when people start asking for referrals.
Yep.
You would want, or an ideal world, you'd want them to refer somebody local.
Yeah.
That's your friend, that's your neighbor, instead of somebody in another city, drive up from Dallas or whatever that we don't know.
Right.
So, we want to keep local. We want to shop local. We want to support our neighbors and our friends in business. So that's kind of like the podcast and the chamber go hand in hand that way.
Yeah, no, and I think it is that ultimate referral, is that if you're able to put those business listings out there, and then when we can get to the community side of it too, but I know all of us that are involved in that, I mean, that's who we refer. As when we talk, and you and I have talked about that, is I'm very careful I don't just refer someone because I know their name, or because, even to be honest, that they're another member of the Chamber of Commerce. But if I have gotten to know them through being a member of the Chamber of Commerce and networking and working events and being a volunteer and giving back and those things, and you get to know that person, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that, hey, this particular person may have not actually worked on my plumbing, but I've been around them enough and have heard from enough of their people, and I've spent enough time with that individual that they are who they say they are. I mean, just this morning, I was talking about an HVAC company that's local, born and raised here, went to Wylie High, and I started recommending them in our neighborhood. And I had not personally worked with them, but I had seen their work, and I had heard from so many people, and before they even became a client of ours, I started recommending them to people, and I started seeing people's feedback in our neighborhood, and then most recently saw a post of a thank you gift that showed up at their house, and it was the Johnsons, and they posted this, this gift showed up. It was a cutting board thing. It was to say, and she had nothing but nice things and positive things to say about him, and I commented back on it, and I was like, I tagged the person, I tagged the company, said they are who they say they are, but they're very big on community. Like
Yeah.
he tells you that he doesn't do it as a flex of, making you think like work with a local person. It's a very genuine thing. A lot of the businesses that we deal with every day here, they are, for lack of better terms, and some of them are bigger, but they're still mom and pop. They're ran by a family, or a legacy of family members. And so you have that legacy and that initial, when they were smaller and so customer centric and so community focused, that carried on through the different generations. And so you have that, and it connects directly back to the chamber. These people that have joined, myself, yourself, and anyone else that we join, because it's a part of this kind of community. And I don't mean community of just us individuals, business owners, community as in Wylie.
Oh yeah.
Is that we're all at the end of the day, we're in it together. And I don't need an HVAC guy, a roofer, a plumber, a media guy, or a realtor that doesn't genuinely care about not just me, but the community as a whole.
It goes back to the old saying, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Yep.
And how do you get that? You get that by knowing the person running the business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And the Chamber of Commerce, our podcast, that's how we segue to the community to get to know these business owners.
Right.
So you can get to look behind the curtain and kind of get to know them without ever really meeting them.
Sure.
And, kind of get a feel for it.
Yep. No, I completely agree. Miss Tina, I mean, we've said a lot of things already, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to say it in your own words. But what would you say makes Wylie's chamber members, and not to throw any shade over at Saxey or Murphy, they've got good folks down there too. I know a lot of them, as do you. But what would you say makes Wylie's chamber and its members unique? If there was a certain thing that just stands out to you, the chamber itself, maybe its members, what would you say makes it a little bit unique?
Well, I'll start answering that by saying within the chamber profession, we have a saying that if you've seen one chamber, you've seen one chamber.
Yeah.
So every chamber at its base, at its foundation is, we have bylaws, we're incorporated, we're a corporation, we're a nonprofit, all those things that make the foundation.
Yeah.
But then you have, I like to say you have the walls and you have the rooms and you have the roof of your building. And so all of those things are the members.
Yeah.
And everything that brings everything together are the members. And I think what I've seen at the Wylie Chamber, and I have seen it at other chambers as well, but are the relationships that are built.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, that's how you look to who you're going to recommend.
Yeah.
But, there are just people that have made lifelong friends and then great business contacts. I think the other thing about Wylie, and that goes back to what we were just talking about, it's been around since 1976,
Mm-hmm.
and just how much even the beginning people or people that have served before, they're still involved in the chamber.
Yeah.
They don't disappear.
Right.
So, sometimes when you come out of being chairman of the board, you're a little weary, but you don't disappear. And I think that shows the steadfastness of the commitment and just the overall commitment to the chamber.
Yeah.
And I think, again, we're fortunate in Wylie that we do have a very, again, I just keep going back to the rodeo because it's just so huge.
Yeah.
But we have that long-standing, traditional, just it's such a great event.
Yeah.
And that's another way that we continue to bring people back in, that they don't just disconnect. And I think that's very important. So I think in answer to your question, I think the people are really what makes it special and makes it just that much different, even though the foundations of the chamber are the same as whether you're in Saxey or Murphy.
Yeah.
But I think it's the people, and I think that's what makes any chamber special,
Mm-hmm.
is those relationships. And like I said, just the ones that, are lifelong friends. So
Yeah.
I think to me, that's what's special. That's what makes it special.
When you keep referencing back the rodeo, and I think it's a perfect example of, for me, And I give my testimony, whatever you want to say, to the chamber. I mean, it was one of the first places I ever walked in, almost 4 years ago now at this point, I guess 4 years ago. And walking in there, and it was my first connection. I came from construction management, and we typically joined a lot of different chambers, wherever we did work or had projects going on or were opening new offices. And it was always, but for us, it was a gold star, 100%. It wasn't like we're going to be super involved, and we did give back and things like that, but it was always monetary. We didn't have the staffing typically to go show up and do events, but we were always members. But walking into that one, it 100% was, in the beginning for me, it was like, let me go see what this is all about, and let me maybe put my name out there and put my name in the hat. And for me, my business owners are my business. So it was like a perfect kind of segue for me, but it really quickly transitioned to coming to the business card exchange and then starting to get plugged in. It became more than that. It became that I have friends to this day and referral partners and more friends than referral partners. And I mean that in a good way. They are referral partners, but they're friends first, that I met from, business card exchange, and still from, the Wendell Daniels, Megan Lunty's, Christy Denham, everyone. And then going on to even the leadership, which we haven't really touched on. I'll let you get on that, maybe in the what's coming this coming year. But it's the relationship from there, is that, and the rodeo is such a testament that most people, and we talked about this on the rodeo episodes, most people don't realize what it actually takes to put that thing on. They just look and go, okay, it's Friday and Saturday night, it's a few thousand people, not that big of a deal, but they don't see, we get to see it. We get to see the amount of volunteers that are there, and not even just the nights of, it's the planning that goes into it. It's the trips out there when the grass is still tall and we're going, wait a minute, when's this getting mowed? And like all the things, are the lights working, and then even the partnership with ISD and Dr. Vincent making sure lights were replaced for. I mean, all this stuff that has to go into it, but really the people behind it, that when they see the people in the VIP section, whether it's handing out peanuts or it's hot dogs or barbecue or whatever it is, to the people manning just security, people manning the vendor area, it's all the people that go into it that freely. Are they trying to promote their advertising? Maybe. Some of them aren't. Some of them don't have any signage anywhere. They're just there to be a part of the community. Now, some of them maybe because we coerced them. Maybe we talked them into it. But it really is. And I've been a big proponent of that, in the beginning when we were talking about rodeo. Look, if you want to volunteer and it's less about advertising for you, maybe you don't have a huge advertising budget, but you paid for your membership, you're here in this business card exchange this morning. If you want a way to get plugged in, this is just one of them. Like, come and hang out with the people. And that's the rodeo is one of those. If you look at it from a 30,000 foot view and you strip down the bull riding and the fun and all that, and you look at the core that's there, and then back there typically Sunday morning, it's like that's the testament to what the chamber is, and what it can do. And I'm living, breathing, I am one of those that, maybe not every single client came from the chamber, but the fall off from that, or the runoff from that, of just being involved. And now, as you know, I'm a huge proponent of the chamber, and I try to do whatever I can to help the chamber, but it's for those reasons, is that there's a huge impact that it provides, and not everybody's business is just like mine or just like Wes's, but I think it still works. It still works for the rest of them too, regardless of, I think a lot of people come in, and I this is my soapbox moment. I think a lot of people come in and they join the chamber or a chamber or any organization, and 3 months in, 6 months in, maybe a year, and they go, what was my ROI? What was my ROI from the chamber? And what they failed to realize is their ROI was in the opportunity. The ROI was in the chance to come to Business Card Exchange. It was a chance to get involved in a luncheon. It was to even sponsor and maybe speak at a luncheon, the rodeo, like all of the things. And instead they sit back and go, I didn't get a single lead on my website from my listing on the Chamber of Commerce's website, so we're going to nix that and we're going to go with something else. They're missing the entire point. And I think that if people would take the opportunity to step back and, number one, realize how reasonably priced being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, any of them, but specifically the Wylie Chamber of Commerce, is a very reasonable membership, to sit back and go, and realize that your ROI is not always quantifiable in dollar amounts. Sometimes your ROI is quantifiable in relationships and community and simply being involved, and that pays dividends usually down the road, but it doesn't go away. Maybe it takes you a little while, and if you come in with the wrong intentions, if you come in thinking I'm joining this to get leads, or I'm joining this to immediately see dollars hit my bank account, then you're probably not a great fit. But if you will come in and change your perspective and go, I'm joining this to be a part of the community genuinely, And then from there, because I'm involved in the community, the benefits will continue. Wes was one. Kylie Rising sitting next door was another one that said, look, if you have the same mentality that you have day one about your business, that you are genuinely here to help small and medium-sized businesses up to large corporations, if you keep the heart in it and you make it about the people and about the community, you'll never need work. Like, there's plenty of it here. And that's what we've tried to do from day one. And a huge piece of us keeping that center and staying grounded was being part of the chamber. I mean, and giving back is big for us. I mean, obviously, but it's just one of the things we genuinely enjoy doing. But it all goes back to, we try to base everything on community. And I think the chamber is that stepping stone. That was my soapbox.
Man, woo, that was great.
I could talk about that for a while.
I mean, to boil all that down, you know, the best people live in Wylie, Texas.
Agreed. I agree.
And the community here is like none other than
and Saxe, a little bit of Saxe,
and a little bit of Saxe. Collin County, Saxe.
There we go.
Yeah. So I mean, the community is what brings people here. And even if it's not, the people that get here, they don't want to leave because of the community that they're part of.
Out of all the episodes that I've been a part of with you, which at this point is, I don't know, probably a couple dozen at least, I would say. I don't know exactly how many that number is, but that we hear that almost every episode.
Yeah.
Typically, and it's not always us. We reiterate and agree, but a lot of times it's the people sitting across from us. And it's exactly what Tina said. It's the people, and the people are what make up our community.
Yeah.
And we hear that it's not, nobody's making it up.
This is the Wylie way.
It's nobody's passing around the Wylie way Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like, it's a genuine thing. Like, you walk into it, and you know, and I've told my story a million times, and we'll get into it, but that's why we moved here. We moved here primarily because of the schools, but then as soon as we were here and specifically got involved in the community beyond our neighborhood, which is a whole community in itself.
Yeah.
But then you get involved in the larger community, and you were like, man, we were talking about it the other day, and we've talked about it before, and I don't want to keep tooting Dr. Vincent's horn, but like we were talking about the other day about superintendents. Like, you know, when I grew up, when my wife grew up, and any other adult I ever talked to, who was your superintendent? I don't know. Did you ever meet your superintendent? I don't know. Was he ever... No, I mean, I think he sat in his office or something. I don't even know the man existed. He was like Superman. Like, we never saw him. And I'm like, and you see Dr. Vincent everywhere. And that's just a small piece. And you take that and you multiply it into the community, and it's like everyone else is that way too. You talked about Lutz Woodworking, like to go in, like those people are right there. You walk in, you meet them. They're the same people you would assume they were. They're smiling faces. They love our community. They start everything they say with, we love our community. We love our people. And it echoes throughout our entire community, and it's a different place. It really is.
It's the best place. Yeah. So next question.
Yeah. Continue.
So here's a good one. Okay. Why should business owners and local leaders join the chamber?
So I think the reason to join the chamber is there's only one chamber in Wylie.
Yeah.
I think that's, again, I go back to the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's only one chamber. There's only one organization that offers what we offer.
Yeah.
Yes, there are great networking groups.
Sure.
I mean, we've seen those grow. We've seen how valuable those are. And networking is another one of those things. You have to feel comfortable with the people that you're going to see and the people that you're networking with.
Yeah.
So, our business exchange on Wednesday mornings, it has a very consistent people that come, but then we still have visitors, and then they become the consistent people that come. So, and then we have, there's other networking groups, and so they have their consistent people. So, along with what the networking, again, I'll go back to like the website. There's not another organization, and again, I'm going to preface all this with, as far as I know, but I don't think there's another organization that will list your business in a group and have the amount of information that you can put about your business.
Sure.
I'll also mention that through our CRM, your search engine, when you Google up a business, our website listing for your business generally will be at the top.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what business I looked at a couple of weeks ago, and the chamber listing came up before the national organizations that this business belonged to.
Wow.
And I thought that was really interesting.
That is. That is.
I wish I could remember who it was.
I'm a little bit of an expert in some of that,
Yes.
a little bit,
Yeah,
but
just a little bit.
no, it really does. It's a huge added benefit, and not many people, they probably look at that as the smallest detail, the business directory. But for exactly what you said, for search engine optimization, for them to have, we call them backlinks or citations, but for them to have a listing. And the reason typically that they were going to rank higher, and this is for anyone that's thinking about joining, is by being listed in y'all's local directory over, say, a national directory, is that while both backlinks help them overall, when people are searching, it's geo-based or location-based, for if you don't know what geo is. But if they're on Google and they say plumber near me, HVAC, water restoration, media, realtor, it's based on their search location. So national is great for, big commercial companies and things like that that are expanding beyond one maybe city. It's great to be able to reference those things. But when you're doing a search, it's detecting that I'm searching from our office here off Callaway in Wylie, Texas. And so it's going to initially try to connect me with plumbers, HVAC, realtors locally, but then it's also simultaneously looking at who's going to rank higher based on the location, but then also based on reviews, listings, citations, and all those things. So when the chamber has them listed and that listing's getting some interaction, it's super likely that it could show up before their website. It could show up before all of the things, because most people's websites, they haven't done a great job on SEO. So those listings are what they may not know why they're getting so much traffic off of Google, but those are huge added benefits. And most people look at that listing and go, they don't even put that much effort into it. We were just talking about the customization of it. Continue.
Yep. So I think that's another good reason. And then again, I think the chamber offers you ways to promote your business, to engage with the community, to engage with other business owners in a way that I don't think you're going to find anywhere else. And then also we offer, like I said, if someone calls the office, you have a professional chamber staff. And so you do get those referrals. And the thing that I always think about referrals, or even if they go to the business directory, I don't know that a lot of people will tell that business, I got to you through the chamber. If they call the office, that'll be one of the last things I'll say to that person, is that when you select the business that you're going to work with, I hope you'll tell them that you came to them through the chamber.
Yeah.
And but I think there's a lot of ways that people come through the chamber and get to your business, but we can't quantify it. We can't quantify that ROI.
Yeah.
It's that just you can't measure it.
Sure.
And the other thing that I'm going to mention that I don't think a lot of people notice or do, but if you're talking about leads, if you go to our website and you go probably about 2/3 down, there's going to be a little roller, and it's going to tell you who the new members are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? If you want some leads, call up that new member and say, hi, I also belong to the Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to tell you about my business.
Yeah.
And what's going on at your business.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be a two-way communication.
Right.
But if you're looking for those leads, they are right there.
Yeah.
And you can click on it again through the business directory. You can send them an email.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to know their email address. So I don't want members to think we're giving out email. That's one thing we do not give out, our email addresses.
Yeah.
So, but you can reach them through the website.
Okay.
And so I think those are a couple little things. And those are the kind of things that if somebody is sitting in their office and they go, gosh, I can't go to that Wednesday business exchange.
Right.
We have evening just isn't good for me. I need to take Johnny to soccer games and practice, and I can't come hang out in the evening.
Right.
Lunchtime, that's my busiest time. I cannot go to events. But you're getting so many different benefits, even if you never attend anything.
Right.
If you attend and you build those relationships, then that's just going to add to your benefits.
It's going to expedite it a little bit.
Yes.
Exponential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Exponentially.
Yep.
That word.
We do, of course, Chamber of Commerce are known for ribbon cuttings.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many businesses have not had ribbon cuttings.
Then you're way off. You're way worse than me. You've been a member longer than I have.
I've been a member a long time. But
Yeah.
In my defense, we have talked about it.
Yes, we
and,
have.
and we are going to schedule it for. I would like to do it on a Friday because I think that I want to make it a kind of a little bit of a party.
cornhole outside.
Like maybe some corn. I want to make it so it's a little warmer. I've talked about having our buddies at Herman Marshall come over. I would love to have, some music or something, like an open house. Like just, hey, come in and we're going to hang out for a couple of hours, but then incorporate the. So there's a little bit of a process to it.
We're going to have to clean up.
We're going to have to do a little, we're still mid, we got a hallway to finish painting, but you're exactly right. And those, again, people take for granted as they think, well, it's a plaque and it's a ribbon cutting or whatever. It's the idea that you said about calling new members. I mean, that's even for me. I mean, us looking at, and it's something that I need to delegate because it's not something I probably can directly spend my time doing, but something to delegate and say, number one, I'm tied into the community so much and know people who it may not even be about me. And I honestly, and I'm not saying that to toot my horn, I try to keep things, it's about everyone else. And then by default, we reap benefits from it. Sure. But being able to call up a new member and just say, welcome, I'm a member of the chamber and I'm a kind of advocate for the chamber, but also, I want to know a little bit more about your business. Look, hey, we do digital marketing and advertising. Maybe you need us, maybe you don't. If you ever do, you know who to call. But also, maybe there's another connection point for them. Maybe they're looking for business insurance, or maybe they need some new graphics made or a vehicle wrap or whatever. The millions of other things that we have access to inside of the Chamber of Commerce. They need an IT guy to set up new networking stuff. Like we have all those things that are available to them. But to make that connection, number one, I feel like it welcomes them and it shows them it shows them from day one the community. I mean, I was welcomed with open arms. Wes, I'm sure you were too. I mean, it's just you have certain core people that were like your people at the time, and then they're going to be friends and referral partners of yours forever. I mean, that's just the way it works. So I think that there's a lot of the things that people take for granted. And that's why I wanted to have you on, is like there's little things that people, when they initially think of the Chamber of Commerce, number one, I think some people go expense, is they're just getting started and they're like, that's another, several $100s or how much ever, but for them to pause for a moment and actually understand what the ROI is. And it's, again, not always that dollar amount quantifiable way, but to know what the actual benefits are, because people will throw money at ridiculous things. I see it in my field a lot. I'm like, why are you doing that? There's so many other ways that you could spend your money. You could put a stick and peel on your window probably and get better ROI. They don't know because they don't know. And so them being able to understand what all they actually can get, and it goes beyond, I mean, the community alone is invaluable. There's not a price tag you put on it, but then having the business listing, having a searchable tool to where you go through. I mean, most businesses know who their primary referral partners are. Like if I ask Wes right now, and he doesn't even have to answer because I already know most of them, but what are, a realtor's primary referral sources? He could say it's these three. I mean, these three are our top referral sources of who they typically come from. And whether those are individual or industry based, he would know the individuals, but industry based, he would know who they are. Most businesses know that regardless of what they are. If they're a restaurant or a service provider, they know where primarily in their industry most referrals come from. To hop on the Chamber website and say, it goes both ways. I think some of these new businesses that are getting here, in existing businesses, it could go both ways. Exactly what you said, both way street is, hey, I'm brand new. I just joined the chamber. I noticed you're also a chamber member. Hey, I'd love to grab some lunch, grab some coffee, or hey, I'm thinking about going to the business exchange on Wednesday. Don't know if you have some free time. Maybe we grab coffee afterwards. I mean, that little piece of effort was the difference between someone getting the end of the year and being like, I don't really know why I'm spending my money with the Chamber of Commerce.
You've got to put forth a little bit of effort.
Oh, absolutely.
And it only takes one interaction, getting one client or whatever to more than pay for your membership.
You probably paid for your membership for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. and it doesn't take that much effort to get the one.
No.
Especially with the community that we have here.
No, not at all. Miss T, go ahead. Do you have something else you want to add there?
Oh, I was just going to mention, a couple things about membership, and we've just introduced this in the last couple months. So if you are a solopreneur, so you don't have any employees, it's just you, And this is the other thing that I think there's some confusion about. Two things is if you're a home-based business,
Yeah.
you can still be a member.
Yeah.
If your business is online, you can still be a member. And then one more thing is you don't have to have your business in Wylie.
Yeah.
You need to be a business that is looking to do business
Sure.
in Wylie.
Yeah.
And that you feel like our members and our people are your way to do business.
Yeah.
So that's also just another thing. But so this, what we've introduced is if you're a solopreneur for your first year, your membership is, and I wish we had a drum roll, but $150.
Oh, wow.
And that's not a month.
That's for the year.
That's for the year.
Wow.
And then you'll get an invoice a year from when you join for your renewal, and you can auto renew. You can put your credit card number in our safe CRM,
Do that.
and it'll auto renewal.
So much easier.
Yeah.
And
Otherwise, you get a call from Tina.
yes, I am good at the phone calls.
I've gotten a call before.
But those are a couple things, and then we also have our platinum partners. So I'm going to say kind of the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So we are fortunate to have a number of, what we call our platinum partners. There are members that have taken, and they are top tier investors.
Yeah.
And yes, they're going to be our community partners. So like the City of Wylie, Wylie Independent School District, and Wylie Economic Development Corporation. But we have Dean Ann Popcorn.
Yeah.
We have Methodist, Richardson, Baylor. So there's a whole list. And then those members, there's a whole different level of membership benefits and promotions.
Didn't you have a brand new one jump on this year? They do something with grass or something. Did they come on as a platinum member? I thought so. They were really excited about that.
I think I know who that is.
Yes. And she is joining the board as well. I got
Awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and ever
So-
since, and that goes back to, that's community.
Yep.
I met Ashley Bledsoe and Bledsoe Hydromulch from just different networking things. I'd seen her kind of pop in some chamber stuff. I had seen her at another networking group, and those folks just latched on to this community and just said, you know what, we're going to do anything and everything that we can do, whether it be financially, and if it's not financially, we're still going to show up and we're still going to be there. But they're the Wylie way, as Dr. Vincent would say.
100%.
But they're also textbook like chamber members. Like she hit the ground running, and they've been in business a while, but when they latched on to the community and saw, and I think they realized, just like we're hoping other people realize, like it's special, and they jumped in. And yeah, you're talking about someone that joined chamber, moved to platinum, and then now is going to be a board member and is going on. It's just, those are the relationships, so that those are the people that you get to sit back and go, hey, I know them. They're cool people. And they're genuine. It's not just about like, well, they're a board member. It's like they're there for a reason. There's a reason. There's a nominating committee, which I was fortunate enough to be on.
I was on a nominating committee
second or
once.
third time. And it was like, that was a name that resounded with a lot of people. And there's a reason. Is because people, again, they got involved, they got connected, and not even connected in any weird, like we got connected and then, I have connections. No, it's not even about that. It's that you just decided to get involved. And
people
it's
see you as a leader.
People see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
people see you as a leader
Absolutely.
in the community.
Yes.
Yeah. But to backtrack a little bit, we were talking about ribbon cuttings.
Yep.
Cuttings.
Yes.
And
I like the way you said it first. Cuttings.
Cuttings. That's my East Texas.
East Texas came out.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
We're
Ribbon
not going to
cuttings.
have ribbon cuttings. We're going to have ribbon cuttings.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do
That.
Wes's, you've got to announce it as a cut.
I like
I mean,
that.
I could MC those.
Okay.
Anyway,
Ooh.
it's something that I didn't know is you don't have to have a physical office
No.
Right.
to have a ribbon cutting.
Right.
No.
Cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
Stick with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, we do those, and I think that's really fun. If you don't have a storefront, or if you have an office that you don't necessarily want people walking into, then we will do your ribbon cutting. after our business exchange on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So you kind of have a captive audience, which is really fun. And we'll do it at 9:00. So if you can't come to business exchange, then you can show up at 9 and be part of the ribbon cutting. I'm just going to keep saying that.
I like it a
It's
lot.
so
It is
fun.
stuck.
I like it.
Ooh, I like that. And then the thing about your ribbon cutting is that it gets promoted on the front end. It's an actual event on our calendar, in our social media, so your business name is out there.
Yeah.
Goes in our newsletter. We're going to need another hour because there's so many more benefits that I just keep going, oh yeah, light bulb, don't forget about that. And then afterwards, then we post the photo, goes in our newsletter, and then one of our other partners is Wylie News.
Yeah.
And so they print once a month on one of their pages, they will print the picture.
Oh, okay.
And so we usually have 2 of them per month that get listed. So sometimes, it feels like forever since you had your event, and then, okay, where's the picture? But it's because we just do 2, and we've been fortunate. We've been really scheduling a lot of.
You've been doing some ribbon cuttings.
We have
Yeah,
been.
big cutting.
Yes. So yes. So to go along with that, now other people will turn the ribbon cuttings into events.
Yeah.
We have one actually tomorrow, and then as a special, we actually have one on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
And that's part of a grand opening.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, and that's the other thing about it is your ribbon cutting can be whatever you want it to be. So you can have I'll just say kind of the simplicity of having it after the business exchange, or you can have, and I always say we can come to your house.
Yeah.
So it's,
And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be other business owners coming to your cutting.
Yeah.
It could be your clients. It could be your friends. It could be people that support your business and join in the party. Yep.
It could be a whole group of people that want to cut up.
That's right. Cut a rug.
Okay. Now we're just going too far.
Okay. I mean, we do have the Live Love Wylie band.
We do. I mean, so it's helpful. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
So fast forwarding, looking forward, and this is kind of us closing out. I know there's so much more, and all what we're going to do, of course, is direct people to you guys. We want people to go. You guys are right there on Ballard. They can stop by right there at Ballard and Brown. They can stop by, ask questions. They can, of course, give you guys a call. They can go to the website, wyliechamber.org. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's where they can go to get more info. If something has intrigued them and they go, wait, they said there's more, they can absolutely reach out to you guys, schedule a lunch, swing in, come to Business Exchange, and maybe talk with members, and not only us, but Tina or anyone else that's there. But tell us a little bit of let's get people excited a little bit. Let's just talk about, and it could be some of the smaller events or bigger events, whatever you want to talk about. But in closing, tell us what people can look forward to going into 2024. We're wrapping up the end of this year. Everyone's on that kind of holiday mode now, but what are we looking forward to in 2024 with the Wylie Chamber?
So our first large event, and we'll start promoting it or doing ticket sales, it's our annual luncheon, and it's the State of the City address.
Yeah.
And we're very fortunate. Mayor Porter will come and really, I'm going to say, do a deep dive. It almost feels like it's behind the curtains.
Yeah.
Of what's going on at the city and all of the great things that they've been doing. And so that'll be in March. That'll be March 26th.
Yeah.
And again, another one of our partners, we're fortunate, it'll be over at Collin College in the conference center.
Yeah.
And so that'll be our largest first event, and that'll be March. In January and February, we will still be doing some planning and fine tuning. But overall in the year, we want to bring back our lunch and learns.
Yeah.
And those are something that you don't have to be a member to attend. It is a member benefit. The best thing is to just keep watching our calendar, because that's, wherever everything is. And then April, we have an annual awards banquet. And that's a great opportunity for the chamber to really highlight some of our, all of our members are great, but it's just to seek out those that have maybe, I'll say, gone above and beyond.
Sure.
But again, That's so hard for me to say because all of our members go, if you're active and we know you, then we're pretty much,
Say everybody gets the pat on the back and everybody gets that thank you. But I agree with you. There's some that you see certain things that happen and it's like any award banquet. There's certain things that just stand out. And hey, at the end of the day, if you don't get your award this year, keep doing what you're doing and wait in line, which I think it genuinely though, most of those that would ever even qualify for something like that, they're not in line for it anyways. You know what I mean? They aren't expecting it, aren't looking for it. It's nice, but I think there's just that's the benefit of that. So, but if you're sitting in line like waiting on your award, then maybe don't come. I don't know.
So that'll be April, and then we briefly, and again, it'll have to be another whole show, but in May, our Leadership Wylie class graduates, and this was pretty exciting because this was class 20.
20 for 20.
Yep, and so we're pretty excited about having our 20th, and then we've done the first event to kick off an alumni group, and so again, as we get into the new year, we'll be really tightening up that a little bit better. And
that was a fun event. It was a fun event. For those of us that have been through Leadership Wylie, that was number one, Leadership Wylie. I'll give a segue just briefly and then let you continue. So Leadership Wylie, if you're not paying attention to that or don't even know what it is, find out. It was something that was eye-opening for those of us that even feel like we know or get to see behind the curtain quite a bit. It was eye-opening just to get to see the depth of it, from PD and fire to city council to going out and further into Collin County and seeing the inner workings of that and leaving, and the relationships. Again, we talk about that a lot, the relationships that were built in that class, but then getting to go to the alumni group and seeing not only your class, but then I think I was class 18. I think that sounds right. And getting to see 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 and those people, and them, but you were like, oh my gosh, you did Leadership Wylie. And it's like, it's a cool group to be a part of. And it's a day a month that you're dedicating to go. Most people can make that happen. And fun fact, most employers will let you go do that. If you're not a business owner or business leader, most employers will let you go do that because it's like leadership building. So anyways, yes, watch out for the next class.
Yes. We'll be taking applications. Actually, we start in May with the graduating class, and then we close applications usually in July. Yeah. Because the first class will be in August. And I was leadership class 1. So
shout out.
Wow.
Yes. So May, and then in June, and this is so exciting. I'm excited about where this program can go, but we'll have our 3rd women's conference. And last year was just so successful. We really sold out the room at Collin College and had a great, and that's my other recruiting reason for Ms. Bledsoe, and she already knows that, so she's not.
It's not a secret.
Anything. No. So I really want to get her to help me with the women's group and make it a Eastern Collin County, because we just don't have that kind of organizations or those kind of events in this side of the county.
And it was a great, I'm not a woman, but I was there for other reasons professionally. And it was a great group. And the feedback from it, because I do know most of the women in the room, the feedback from it was all the things. It was empowering. It was, perspective. It was, a lot of these folks left there, and I heard about it for quite some time, as I'm sure you did, that it was just an exceptional event. And to have an event dedicated to an incredible category of people, being women, there's not a ton of events, more nowadays than there used to be, but there's not a ton of events that single that out and say, this is specifically, we're going to talk about things that we deal with. Like, no dudes allowed. I was allowed briefly.
Oh, you were documenting.
To capture and to document. Yes. But it was such a good event. It really was. And I'm looking forward to that continuing to grow too. And I know everyone else involved too. And Ashley would be a great help for that.
Yes,
for sure.
I'm excited. And then, and again, we didn't even get a chance to touch on this, but July is I think it's unique. We host a new teacher lunch. And so it's an opportunity for the business community to connect with the new teachers in the district. Yep. And this year in 2024, the luncheon will be at Wylie East. Right. So we,
W's.
Go back. Yes, there you go.
Wait. I switched the camera. Yep.
There you go. And
Shout out.
so that'll be in July. And then August, another unique luncheon that we do is we highlight all of our nonprofit organizations that are members. And so that's again, a benefit for those organizations. They get the spotlight at that luncheon.
Did you hear that? Nonprofits that are not members, they should join.
Yes.
That was a good plug there that you said that are members.
Yes. It's all about
Nonprofits
membership.
can join.
They
can
can
join and be
Oh,
a part.
yes.
And
Yes.
you would have a chance at this particular luncheon to be spotlighted and featured and have a table and get to
Yep.
talk for a couple seconds and tell people about what you do and connect to the community of business owners that need to give back in more ways than one sometimes. Perfect opportunity. So they should join too.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of our members are looking for that extra things that they can do and that they can contribute to the community, and they look to the nonprofits, and more than likely they make connections with the nonprofits that are chamber members.
Yep.
So that'll be July, and then August. September, we're back to rodeo. So I'm very excited. This year we are going to move away from that weekend. I have to pull out my phone because I don't have the date memorized.
Well, hey, you've done
yet.
really good. You've gotten all the way through September without having to check a date. I
know.
can't get through next week without having to check a date. So for you to have gone through September without having to double check a date.
Some of these
I know, right?
some of these dates start to just get emblazoned on your brain, and yep, I've just about had this. So September 27th and 28th.
Okay.
So we're moving to the last weekend in September.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about that because I think when we come out of Labor Day weekend, we've partied or hung out or gone out of town, and then to be thinking about, I'm going to do something else on that weekend right after Labor Day.
Right.
So this will push it out a little bit. And and I just confirmed that with the producer. So
Nice.
So this is definitely.
We might actually be, I mean, we never know in Texas, but it might actually be a little cooler too. Maybe. You never know. September's always iffy. You never know. I mean, I think this year Halloween wound up being cooler this year. But, last year Halloween was 90, I mean, so you don't know, but I like that. I like the move on that.
Yep. October is, it is Manufacturers Month.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to take a spin on manufacturers, and I think make it a little broader and have it be workforce. We've done a manufacturers luncheon, but I think then some businesses may go, well, wait a minute, I'm a dentist.
We don't manufacture.
Why do I want to, be a part of that luncheon?
Yeah.
So I think we need to talk about workforce issues, and we all know there's tons of workforce issues.
Sure.
So I think that'll be a great opportunity to bring in some experts and really have them show us the way to try and help that issue.
Yeah.
November is again another event, and I really want to mention this. So in November, and we've done this for, and I'm sorry, I don't know how many years, but it's been eons.
Yeah.
We have been the host for the Christian Care Center, Wylie Community Christian Care Center. And we always used to host a luncheon. And a couple years ago, we moved to a breakfast format, and that's been really fun, and have seen attendance build back up and everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes people will look, or maybe they're thinking and they don't ask, and they're like, why is the chamber such a part of the Christian Care Center? Why does the chamber, host this for them?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back in history. This is one of those long-standing things that the Christian Care Center was started with a ministry alliance. So it was the churches, and then they turned to the business community. So they turned to the chamber.
Yeah.
So that's why the two are just connected.
Yeah.
We certainly try to find other ways to, again, we have the nonprofit luncheon. So it's just that relationship is just such a tradition.
Yeah.
And so we are thrilled that we can host this event. They do an auction, and they get all the items. All of the proceeds go to them, and so it's another good fundraiser for the Christian Care Center.
That whole relationship, as much as we've sat here and talked about the current state of community and getting involved, that directly goes back. You go back in history, and you talk about from the gentleman sitting in an office a few feet away from us, from John Yeager, to the Raymond Coopers of Wylie, to the Dr. Drapers of Wylie. And that was the same thing we're talking about. And I don't want to age them too much. They might hurt me. But, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that they were the ones. Some of them were on business side. Some of them were on ministry side. Some of them, but they were the community. They were the same people sitting in these seats then. And I don't want to make it too heavy, but it's kind of like we have that responsibility now. A lot of us that are involved now is that has to carry on. And you, as CEO of the chamber, some of that, you call it a mantle or whatever you want to call it, but it's you're kind of carrying that on now, because those were the foundations of why we talk about how much we love the place we're in now and the community that's here and how it's different. It was started probably even before them, and they were carrying on from someone else. But you talk about things that got started that we're still carrying on today. It's because of what the community was then and the people who ensured that those connections came together. And it's beautiful to see that we're still honoring those legacies and still continuing those things. And we're fortunate enough, and I know I'm fortunate enough to have gotten to meet them and still been able to interact with them and carry their story forward. And it's just an incredible thing, but it's so poetic that's literally the connection.
Those are the guys that have schools and streets named after them.
Yes.
So
shout out to John for the new street name.
Yeah, absolutely. John just got his street name this year. Yeah. So it's huge.
No, it is. And that's the other thing. I don't know that some of our newer residents know about the schools that they're named after.
They probably don't.
And really business people. That's really who the majority of the schools are related to, is the business community.
Yeah.
And, again, the business community and the school district, how they went hand in hand.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, maybe that's the answer to why is Wylie different.
Yeah.
And it's because we have such long legacies.
Yeah.
Maybe that's probably a really good answer.
Yeah, that is.
As we talk about it more, and those, those are just invaluable.
Yeah.
And we're so fortunate to be here and be a part of the community that was built on such great men and women.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that really influenced where we are today.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll finish out the year. We just finished up. We had now I'm going to say that you have to listen carefully.
Yeah, let's focus.
Winter Wonderland Elfin. So as in little, Santa Claus's buddies. Elfin Gala. So we just had that this weekend. Mr. DJ, thank you for being there and being our host with the most.
You are welcome.
And so it's a really fun evening. We were talking briefly this morning about how we can make it better.
Yeah, it's fun.
This is one of our newer events, and I think the way we posted it and marketed it this year, I think is the perfect. It's the holiday kickoff.
Yeah. And
it's everyone in the community. That's the other thing to say is that you don't have to be a member to attend anything. We have member discounts. That goes to membership. But anyone can attend any of our events, so that's the other thing. But the Elfin Gala was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs, and had it up at Boyd Farm. If you haven't been to the Boyd Farm Event Center yet, it's just
awesome venue.
Such a great venue, and we're thrilled to have them as members. And beginning, that's a new relationship for us, so we're very excited about that one. And so now, we're kind of winding down. I've got one more board meeting, and we've got, another subject is our ambassadors. We're going to thank our ambassadors with a holiday reception the week before Christmas. So, so we're always busy, and I'm probably a little annoying because I like to push a little bit and keep our board and our staff a little bit on their toes, and also always looking for something new.
Yeah.
That's the other thing for our members, and is always, what, if you have an idea, we can always listen. So
Yeah.
sometimes I may say, how can we do that? Maybe you need to show us.
And that's why you have a board,
So,
right?
yeah.
Because there's no bad ideas. There's maybe misplaced ideas or not fully thought out ideas. But that's what a board's for.
Yep.
Someone's able to bring something forward and go, hey, I like this idea, or here's an improvement, or here's that. And it's a half thought or part of a thought, or what about, and then that's the community. I keep saying that word, but it's the community, the rest of the board members going, I like that, but maybe here's an angle we kind of forgot about, and we might hurt some people's feelings or whatever. Or here's another way we could do that. But yes, you were on. That's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
It's to be able to. No two people think alike.
Yeah.
Everyone comes from a different place, a different perspective.
It's the ability to take a raw idea and fine tune it into that finished
Yep.
idea, right? That you can execute.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yep.
Yeah, and that might be an interesting topic, is just about board service. I don't necessarily mean the chamber,
Yeah.
just the chamber, but is to understand. I don't know that the public always understands that board members are volunteers.
Yeah.
And how, if you have a favorite nonprofit, it's a good idea, if you're interested,
Yeah.
is to show that nonprofit what your skills are and how you could contribute to growing that organization or helping that organization. And that might be an interesting subject. And
Yeah.
again, not just the chamber.
Now, in general,
So-
I can agree with you. I mean, Wes and I, we both kind of laughed when you said that, because both Wes and I both were on our HOA board, and
sorry.
and yeah, exactly, me too.
I'm still on it.
Wes is still on it.
Sorry.
But it was it's 100% volunteer, definitely,
Well,
and it's a labor of love, 100%.
I do it because I love my neighborhood.
Same,
right?
and that was the
So-
exact reason.
Yeah.
Both of us, that we had the intentions of doing it. Wes has stayed on a whole lot longer than I thought he would, but I can appreciate him for doing that, because it's definitely labor of love. But you're absolutely right, is get involved initially. And this does, in my eyes, goes for any nonprofit or any board, from city to ISD to the Education Foundation to the chamber, anywhere. Go get involved first. I mean, like, don't obviously come into it expecting, say, a board position, unless they need you. If they need you and they're looking for your expertise or whatever, but you go and get involved. But all the stuff you just mentioned, this is what I want to encourage people. This is what I want to kind of leave people with, is everything you just mentioned. You kind of summarized it by, there are things that you can do that you don't necessarily have to be a board member, or chamber member. And so what I would encourage people to do is, if they're on the fence, if they're, even after this, I mean, this was a convincing podcast, in my opinion. But if they're still on the fence, or they're still budgeting, or whatever it may be, look, buy a ticket to a luncheon, stay to the city, come to the business exchange, do some of the things that are free, or you pay to come to just that event and meet some of the people, see some of the programming that is offered, come to the women's conference, do a couple of different things. I genuinely think that if people would experience something of it, worst case, stop by the chamber office and go, thinking about joining, sell me, tell me why I should join and why I shouldn't join. Call my office. I'm probably do a pretty good job of getting you to,
or rewatch this podcast.
or rewatch the podcast. Yeah, it's all right here. But that's what I would encourage people to do, is, like, now that we've tried to give you a little bit of context of what the chamber is and what their function is and the benefits of being there, is that take some level of action based on it. If you're on the fence or thinking about it, or thinking about renewing or not renewing, really honestly, if you're already a member and you're thinking about whether you're going to renew or not, first of all, do the evaluation that we talked about earlier. How have you been looking at your relationship with the chamber? How have you been looking at your ROI as you want to calculate it? And maybe put that into a little bit more perspective. Maybe it's more of a you problem, and I don't mean that negatively, but sometimes you have to look in the mirror, but maybe it's more of a you problem than it is you pointing fingers at, or I didn't get this and I didn't benefit and I didn't that. What did you actually do to ensure? Did you know about all these things that you could be involved in? Did you know about all these things that are opportunities? And I don't just mean monetary sponsorships. I mean, just in general of being involved. I would look at those things before you make any type of decision. But if you're an outsider looking in going, I don't know, maybe I should join, maybe I should not join. If you didn't get convinced by this podcast, then go by and talk to Tina or Mary Ann or anybody, Jessica, or anybody else in that office. And if their personalities don't win you over, then the information they're going to give you surely will. So,
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
have
fan.
a great staff.
Yeah, they do. They're good people.
Or stop by one of the 501 mixers and
Yeah,
Yeah.
501. We kind of
That's
you
right.
briefly mentioned that, but 501 mixers are always. It's a relaxed environment. It moves around a bit to different locations. We typically have some type of snack or food, but there's typically some type of drink. Whatever your preference is, there's typically something available for you. But it is a nonchalant way to not only meet other business leaders, meet people from the chamber, ask those questions, and get a feel for the vibe, which is apparently the word that we should be using. But you get a feel for it, and you're able to do it in a relaxed environment. It's not, you don't have to stand up and give a 30-second pitch or anything like that. You're just there to hang out. So it's again, there's too many of these opportunities. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean, there's too many of these opportunities available for anybody to have an excuse to go, well, I just don't know if I'm going to join or not join, or I don't have ROI from it or whatever. I think it's just, it's you're going to get out of it what you put into it a little bit for sure.
Yeah, just go to the chamber calendar, see what's going on.
That's the easiest spot. It's all there.
Pick something and show up, man.
Yep. Well, that's pretty much all we have today. We have to say a sincere thank you. As you laid out your calendar and your board meetings, we know that you're busy and we know that you have things going on. So we want to say thank you for coming in and appreciate you coming, giving us the run through as we both learned new things today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you being here. And I think that's all we got for today. Anything else that you'd like to add before we close?
No, I love talking about the chamber. And like I said, there's so many more things, more avenues that we could go.
Oh, we could do another hour. Easy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate you letting me talk about the chamber.
Absolutely.
And like I said, it's definitely a heartfelt position to be in. And I'm always happy when I have the opportunity to talk about the chamber. So
go meet Tina.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go meet Tina. Swing
make
by
her
the
happy.
office. Go make her happy. Don't make Tina sad. Tina, give him a sad face.
Tina.
Give him a sad face right here in the camera. See, don't make Tina sad. Go
No
by
sad.
and see Tina.
No sad Tina.
no, sad face is not pretty.
No, it's sad face never looks good on any of us. But thank you, Miss Tina, for being here. For all of you that are watching, we appreciate you watching. Whether you're listening or watching, we appreciate it. Hey, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down there. That way you get notified next one that comes out. For those of you that go,
Subscribe to
I didn't
the
know.
podcast.
I didn't know there was a new one out.
Oh, so for those that don't know, we're on all podcast services.
Yep.
We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube.
Yep.
You're just everywhere.
Pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
Whichever one you prefer.
Wherever you like to consume.
Like,
we're
follow,
there.
subscribe.
Like,
That's
follow,
it.
subscribe.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
All right.
And the same for the Wylie Chamber of Commerce
Wylie Chamber of
Facebook
Commerce.
page. And
That's right. We're going to put the
Instagram.
links in the comments.
Oh, yeah. You guys can just click it and go.
Yep.
There you
So
go.
there you go.
Beautiful. See you guys next time.
All right.
Peace
Later.
out.